This week, I've been thinking about the concept of going with the flow, especially in regards to reading. Now, in life, we've always heard to not worry about or stress over the things that we cannot change. But I want to tell you today to not stress about things that you technically can change. This applied very much to my reading last week when I was reading a certain book called Absalom, Absalom by William Faulkner. This book has a certain reputation of being difficult to read, and that reputation was correct. This is not my first rodeo with Faulkner. I've read As I Lay Dying, Light in August, and The Sound and the Fury, so his writing style was somewhat familiar to me, but all the same, this was a tough read. Not only in the prose, as there are some very, very long sentences and passages of dialogue, but because of how the story is told. The whole narrative is based upon this character called Thomas Sutpen, but we never meet him directly. And the POV character is Quentin Compson, a person that was born after Thomas Sutpen died and therefore never met him. So everything that you hear in the story, beyond that difficult prose, is at least secondhand, if not more than. So you have to go through multiple layers of unreliable narrators to try and determine what actually happened. There's one chapter where Quentin is talking to his college roommate, but he's telling a story of what his grandfather told him, what Thomas Sutpen told him. So I don't even know how to begin to parse that out of what actually happened there. I gotta say, comparing this to The Sound and the Fury, I think Absalom, Absalom is harder, and that's saying something. So how does this tie in to going with the flow? I could have, at every passage I was confused or a little lost, stopped, reread constantly, and determined exactly what happened. But in that case, I would take forever to finish the book. Faulkner has a beautiful way with language, and I doubt he would want you stressing over every single paragraph and sentence if you're looking to read this for any degree of pleasure. So you just have to let go of that ambition to understand everything and let the language take you for a ride, because it is all designed so masterfully. I know there are things I missed, but I also know I will be rereading this book and getting much more out of it on that reread. If I stressed over the meanings and resisted the flow of the words, I would still be reading it and deriving much less enjoyment out of the work. You can take this and apply this to not just entire books, but chapters, paragraphs, sentences, and even words. A couple weeks ago, I was reading some of Herman Melville's short stories, and I came across some words I had never seen before. The one that comes to mind is obstreperousness. I know for a fact I have never seen this word before, and I was able to pick up on roughly what it meant through context clues, but I didn't stop reading the book, go on dictionary.com, take myself out of the narrative, and worry about not knowing the meaning of a single word. That is the complete opposite of going with the flow, and not something you ever want to do. At most, if there's a word you want to look up later, take a quick picture of it with your phone or jot it down in a notebook and keep on reading. Now, I'm sure there are many other things I could apply this to in life, in video games, in writing itself, but that's all the time I have for this week. Perhaps that'll be the topic for next video. If you do enjoy this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and join To the Jersey Side, where we have a new video here uploaded every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.